Now, live from the State University of New York at Oswego. This is Oswego Now at 4.
Tonight, the president's personal attorney under criminal investigation for facilitating $1.6 million payment.
We will show you how to protect your privacy on social media.
And New York State has 50% teacher shortage.
This is Oswego Now.
Good afternoon. I'm Christina Episcopo.
And I'm Crystal Cole.
Public schools are scrambling to find teachers across the state over the past 10 years. SUNY schools have seen a 50% decrease in students enrolling for education studies.
Oswego Now reporter Caitlin Gennari has more on the problem that starts within higher education but doesn't end there.
Public schools statewide say finding teachers is becoming increasingly difficult. Fewer college students are pursuing education careers, and the trend is expected to continue. According to New York State leaders, more than 1.5 million teaching positions will need to be filled within the next decade. Laurel Byron was an elementary school teacher for 31 years. Today, she is using her experience to teach future educators at SUNY Oswego.
I know that we're going to be in trouble and that we need teachers who are trained, so I am more than happy to put my time in to make sure that our future is secure and that our students will have the teachers that they need moving forward.
The trend has impacted higher education programs statewide, and the School of Education Department chair says SUNY Oswego is proof.
10 years ago, we had 1,800 students in our department, and now we have about 400 students in our department.
The problems associated with fewer teachers in college ranks trickles down into the public school system, affecting how districts across the state operate. Professor Byron says if the trend continues, so will the problems.
You're going to have a larger class size, and the students aren't going to get the attention they need. And then the test scores will go down, and then they will be deemed a school in need of improvement, and it's a vicious cycle.
To compensate for the growing gap, New York State lawmakers have increased education funding to more than $26 billion. State lawmakers say part of the budget will be allocated to resources in the classroom, as well as the potential to increase teacher salaries. Caitlin Gennari, Oswego Now.
High student loan debt and low starting salaries are the leading causes of the teacher shortage. The National Education Association says for those reasons, a fifth of new public school teachers leave after just 1 year, and almost half are gone within 5 years.
This week, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg was in the hot seat on Capitol Hill before the House Energy and the Commerce Committee. Members grilled Zuckerberg in the wake of Cambridge Analytica scandal that exposed data up to 87 million Facebook users without their knowledge. After questioning Zuckerberg, lawmakers also pushed the CEO to back legislation to improve consumer privacy. Zuckerberg agreed regulation of his industry is inevitable. Zuckerberg also gained about $3 billion while he was testifying before the Congress. That's because the company's stock gained about 3% since most of Zuckerberg's wealth is tied up in Facebook. The percent rise benefited him generously.
Mark Zuckerberg has spent 2 days in front of U.S. senators answering more than 600 questions about Facebook. But how much do people really know about this massive breach affecting 87 million users? I spoke to some people discussing how much they really know or don't know about their privacy settings.
Facebook is a free platform to share photos and life updates with friends, but the real cost, critics say, is your privacy. Student Eberton Reed says he isn't surprised by the data breach.
These are companies that are major companies. They are major companies for a reason, because they had something that somebody didn't want.
Social media requires users to release pieces of their privacy for use of the platform. Student Celine Stewart says people are unaware of this exchange.
I think that it's really ignorant of us, including myself, to put stuff out there.
Graduate student Holly Reitmeyer says many people aren't willing to educate themselves on what their privacy protections are.
Although Facebook users are quick to complain if they believe their privacy settings are being violated, they rarely take the time to read through the privacy policy anyway.
I know it's extensive and I don't have time for that, so no.
No. I just hit next or whatever. Yeah.
So should Facebook be doing more to prevent a breach like this from happening?
I think definitely Facebook can improve upon their privacy policies and letting users know the different settings that they can manipulate. But I also think it's the social media users' responsibility to take a look upon themselves.
There's a few simple steps that you can take to change the privacy settings on your Facebook. The first one that you can do is change who can see your posts. This can range from ultra private to only yourself, to range from very public to anyone on the internet seeing what you're posting. The second thing that you can do is change your login settings. One of the settings including two-factor authentication, which means getting a text sent to your phone every time that you log into Facebook to make sure that it's just you logging in. The last thing that you can do is avoid using third-party apps. These apps are taking your Facebook data for themselves. Avoiding these apps altogether will avoid your data being taken. For more information on this, you can go to oswegonow.net. But fixing your privacy settings isn't the only thing that you can do. Oswego Now reporter Alif Karim talked to a web security expert about more that can be done.
Thanks, guys. I'm here at 247 West Fayette Street here in Syracuse, the headquarters of Secure Network Technologies Incorporated. Now, they operate as an independent company that works as an internet security consulting firm for local companies and for companies going up to Fortune 500. With all the controversy surrounding Facebook and personal data breaches, James Carroll says the simplest way to avoid losing your data can come down to what password you use for your accounts.
Chances are, what we know is that people use the same password for everything. If I can find their password from LinkedIn, they're going to use it for their email, they're going to use it for their webmail. So password reuse is a massive security concern, and we exploit that, and attackers exploit that.
Now, to protect yourself and your data from hackers, James says it's simply the case of using longer passwords, trying to use numbers and special characters, and staying above the 12-character limit. Reporting live from Syracuse, New York, I'm Alif Karim.
You can find more information about Secure Network Technologies and their services. Just go to their website, securenetworkinc.com.
A video response made by the Oswego campus Republicans was posted to Facebook on Wednesday. The response was made in regard to the backlash the group received after pulling their support from the potential SA presidential candidate, Omar Van Reenen, over the Instagram post they believed supported sexual violence. The group's president, Tyler Toomey, took to Facebook to address the comments from the student committee.
So the video was really to clarify a couple main points that were not in the statement, but still, kind of relevant to our decision to post it originally, as well as to address a lot of the comments by students in our campus community around that, to kind of clarify what our group does stand for and what our intentions and goals were with that post.
Van Reed told Oswego Now last week that he believed his Instagram post was taken out of context. The Instagram post has since been deleted.
A new major at Oswego is expecting to cross academic boundaries this fall. The State University of New York Education Department recently gave approval to a new Oswego major in philosophy, politics, and economics. Professor Ranjit Degay says along with other schools with this program, the major will be a great addition to the economics department.
I really like the idea of a major like that just because I have kind of an interdisciplinary mindset myself, and students in my classes who are interested in politics and philosophy are often some of my most interesting students.
The PPE major is offered at other schools, including renowned Oxford University and Cambridge. Oswego will be the only SUNY school to offer this major.
New information this afternoon on President Donald Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen. The latest on the Department of Justice investigation still ahead.
And April showers and still no May flowers, and an upcoming ice storm does not support spring weather. Alex, is it normal for April to have this type of weather?
Well, actually, no, it's not, but this pattern has been relentless throughout this month, excuse me. Well, currently, though, we do have clouds around, and those clouds will continue to thicken, and the threat will increase as we head on into tonight. We have that temperature not budging much from 40, but the threat for rain shower increases over the night tonight. Coming up after the break, I'll have more on how drastic those temperatures will drop and our significant ice storm ahead for tomorrow afternoon. You're watching Oswego Now News.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. In 4 days. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do.
Did you have a good day at school?
She gave them some broth without any bread.
There you go.
And kissed them all soundly.
Night night.
Good night. And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back. We've got a cloudy and gloomy picture outside live right now of the impending storm that we've got coming up. We've got Oswego Now meteorologist Alex Bielfeld here. And Alex, you were talking about a possible ice storm hitting our area. It is April 13th.
And this is the first one in a long time, right?
Yeah, it's April 13th, and we are expecting a major ice storm to affect the area later tomorrow afternoon. And yeah, this is the first one in a very long time. With that, the National Weather Service has taken full effect and has notices the changes, and that we do have some warnings and advisories in place. And we can see that we do have the winter weather advisory in effect for Oswego, Jefferson, Northern Cayuga, and Wayne counties. And that is for that icing threat that we are expecting later tomorrow and through the night tomorrow night. But a little more on that a little bit later on. But currently, look at the temperature difference across the Northeast region. Earlier today, New York City had a high of 82 degrees, but up here in Syracuse, we're stuck in the low 40s. Now, with that being said, now let's see what you expect over the next week. But first, let's take a look closer to home. We can see that those temperatures, look at that, 43 in Fulton, and even down in Binghamton, they're hitting the 50s. We're not even close to that. So with that temperature grading, we are setting up the threat for an icing event. So what to expect over the next week? We can see that we will have that wet weekend that'll turn to ice. So we'll start out as rain tomorrow and then switch over to ice later in the afternoon. And that wet and cold next week is we're not breaking out of this pattern anytime soon. So looking at the bigger picture, we can see that we do have this humongous system. We have this humongous system out here in the central U.S. that's bringing severe weather, and it has some warm and moist air that's being pumped up into the Northeast region, just to the south of our region. That's because we have this high pressure that's flowing down this cold and dry air that's going to set up this perfect pattern for some ice. So with that being said, timing it into tomorrow morning, we can see that we'll start out as rain with a temperature in the mid-30s, but notice that pink on its way down, continuing into the afternoon on Saturday. We can see that the temperatures will continue to drop and that ice will be falling and continuing into Saturday night, as those temperatures will be at or below freezing, and we won't see any relief until after the late morning hours on Sunday, as we could see upwards to half to an inch of ice accumulate. So power outages and trees coming down are very likely, and driving will be very treacherous. So take it easy and don't drive if you have to. So with that being said, tonight we do have those showers increasing, a low in the mid-30s. But tomorrow we have the rain to ice, temperature high of 39, drops down. And for tomorrow night, we do have that ice and a low temperature of 30. Looking at the next 7 days, we can see that we have ice on Saturday, AM ice on Sunday, but look at that pattern, relentless, wet, and snow returns on Thursday. Temperatures will continue to be below average. But I'm going to toss it back to the desk for you guys.
Thank you, Alex. Season record for the men's lacrosse team and an unforgettable season for the Oswego rugby team. Yankees and Red Sox round 2 and first round of NHL playoffs coming up.
Also, recent chemical attacks in Syria were debated during the United Nations meeting in New York today. All that coming after the break.
Isn't it?
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
I like to eat apples and bananas. I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
One in 5 children struggles with hunger in America. Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Old Mother Hubbard
You hungry?
went to the cupboard to get her poor dog a bone. But when she came there, the cupboard was bare. And so the poor dog had none.
Where'd you get that?
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Michael Cohen, President Donald Trump's personal attorney, is now under criminal investigation after allegedly paying off porn star Stormy Daniels $130,000. That after the Wall Street Journal reports Trump's lawyer Michael Cohen facilitated a big payoff for Brody to a former Playboy model who said the married venture capitalist got her pregnant. The Journal, citing people familiar with the situation, reporters Cohen brokered the $1.6 million payment last year. The payment was reportedly on the condition that she did not speak about the alleged relationship. Cohen did not appear in court Friday after his personal attorney filed a temporary restraining order against the evidence.
The United Nations Security Council met in New York on Friday. It was there that U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley directly accused Russia of being complicit in the suspected use of chemical weapons in Syria, saying Russia was supposed to guarantee that Assad wouldn't use chemical weapons, and Russia did just the opposite. Omar Jimenez has the very latest on the situation in Syria and how the U.S. and the UN are responding.
An emergency meeting at the United Nations Security Council.
A lack of accountability emboldens those who would use such weapons by providing them with reassurance of impunity.
The UN Secretary General warning about the international implications of escalating conflict in Syria.
I've been reiterating my deep concerns about the risks of the current impasse and stressed the need to avoid the situation spiraling out of control.
Now, fact-finding teams from the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons are expected to start work Saturday. Meanwhile, when it comes to diplomatic negotiations, there's a major divide on a common basis of facts. Russia says they have irrefutable evidence the alleged chemical attack in Syria was a staged incident.
It appears that Washington has adopted a categorical policy to unleash a military scenario against Syria. This cannot be tolerated.
The U.S. says biological samples from the area in question have tested positive for chlorine and a sarin-like nerve agent.
The UK has analyzed, yes, it has happened. France has analyzed, yes, it has happened. 3 separate analyses, all coming back with the same thing. There is proof that this happened.
Haley headed to Washington afterwards for meetings on the Syrian issue, where Defense Secretary James Mattis has warned President Trump about the risks of escalation in Syria if he goes forward with an aggressive bombing campaign. In Washington, I'm Mark Jimenez.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says that while the Trump administration is confident Syria bears responsibility for the chemical weapon attack, it also holds Russia responsible for not preventing it.
Reaching the end of the tournament season, the Oswego Rugby Club has reached an all-time peak.
And the Yankees and the Red Sox go back to baseball after Wednesday's matchup on the diamond. Dylan Kuhn will have the latest in sports coming up after the break.
I'm Tyler Haynes.
I'm Mamie Perez.
And I'm Zachary Downer, and we're members of the cast of Cats on Broadway. Each year, between 6 and 8 million cats and dogs will enter shelters and rescue groups, but only half will be adopted.
That leaves millions of healthy and treatable pets who still need homes.
Only 45% of cats and 36% of dogs in American homes
Come from shelters or rescue groups.
which are full of wonderful family-friendly pets. The Shelter Pet Project and Cats on Broadway have joined forces to encourage you to consider shelter pet adoption first when looking for a new four-legged friend.
Whether you're looking for a quiet companion to relax with at the end of the day or a furry friend who's outgoing and ready to take center stage, there's a shelter pet out there who's perfect for you.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find adorable, adoptable, curious cats and dogs near you today. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today.
So how was work?
It was 1,300 hours. My math class from 302 was in the trenches. Davy Roth had it the worst. Fractions were coming at him left and right. He just didn't get the damn things. 2 days ago, I tried to teach him what 1/4 of 1/2 was using different sizes of blocks. Yesterday, I tried again by dividing up pizza. Both missions failed.
Oh no.
But today, I was ready. I created a combat math game where the only way to beat the enemy is to out-fraction them. Davy conquered every last denominator. My game was so successful, the principal is deploying it to math squadrons all over the school. Anywho, how was your day?
Oh, today my boss treated the office to salad wraps.
Salad wraps.
I know.
Welcome back to Oswego Now News. I'm Dylan Kuhn, here to give you a look into the world of sports. It's been a roller coaster of a season for the Oswego State men's lacrosse team. The Lakers got off to a program best start of 6-1. Since then, however, the Lakers have puttered to an 0-3 conference record. To make the playoffs for their first time since 2009, they're going to need to reverse the current trend. The Lakers will look to begin that reversal tomorrow as they travel to Geneseo to take on the Knights. Oswego's rugby team has enjoyed a winning atmosphere this past season. Reporter Zach Florio explains how their success on the field is paying off.
It's nearly the end of tournament season for the SUNY Oswego Club rugby team, and it's one for the books. Team captain Devin Sagendorf says the team is used to winning.
We've won it the past 10 years in a row. It's a really big deal. All the alumni always tell us that we need to win it. It's a big tradition.
The consistent winning nature of this team has paid off. They're officially a Division I team for the first time in club history.
A long time ago, we started around 1970, and we started D3. We won national championship, for however many years in a row. Moved up to D2, which is what we've been last semester since I've been here.
Being a Division I team at a Division III school isn't exactly easy.
Even if we do win, we can't even afford to go to the Elite Four or the Elite 8. We can only make it so far with our funding. The expectations are high, but the numbers and funding aren't there.
Moving up to Division I will be a challenge as the team has never faced this type of competition before. They're looking to improve even more as the tournament season comes to a close. Tomorrow, the team will be hitting the road to play Clarkson in their next tournament game. Reporting for Oswego Now, I'm Zach Florio.
Despite their limited funding, the club team aims to keep their winning momentum in their new division next season. Just a day after this little kerfuffle at Fenway that reignited the rivalry, it continued last night without Tyler Austin and Joe Kelly, who were both suspended for their role in this scrum. However, the show must go on. Sunny gray on the bump for New York, but boy was it rainy, and not just metaphorically. Second inning, Boston up 2. Andrew Benintendi grounds to second. Tyler Wade tries to save the run, but a terrible hop. Everybody's safe. 3-0 Sox. Third inning, the ugliness in the field continues. Giancarlo Stanton cured his woes at the plate. Not so much in the field here. Loses the ball, and out turns into a ground rule double. Gray finishes with 6 earned runs in just 3 innings of work. Boston wins the rubber match 6-3. We turn our attention to some playoff puck now. Blue Jackets at the Capitals, Game 1. Third period, all even. Jacob Vrana skates up, dishes to Devontae Smith-Pelly, who puts the Caps up by 1. Columbus refuses to concede. Artemi Panarin finds Seth Jones, who rips the equalizer top shelf. We're getting overtime playoff hockey. In overtime, Panarin blows by the defense and finds the back of the net off the no-angle shot. Columbus stuns the Capitals in Washington in Game 1. Caps fans all across the nation slamming on the panic button. That's all for sports. We got more news and weather after the break.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said,
no, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Hey guys, today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Give kisses. Give kisses. Look. Give kisses. Give kisses. You heard how loud that was.
I know,
I heard that.
I heard. It wasn't you.
Yeah.
It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Bacon.
After receiving pressures from the educators, Governor Doug Ducey has announced a plan to give Arizona teachers a 20% pay increase by 2020.
Flanked by lawmakers and educators, Governor Ducey rolled out a plan to provide a 20% increase for teachers within 3 years. 10% this year, 5% next year, and another 5% the following year. To do it, the governor will have to find $274 million in the state budget this year and get it done fast.
I'm going to be working with the people standing behind me to negotiate this final budget. The commitment in this budget and the priority in this budget is going to be to the teacher pay increase.
So, will it be enough for teachers who've threatened to strike? I spoke with Red for Ed leaders who won't say yes or no, only that they are watching closely. A lot of people have talked about this as a teacher shortage problem, essentially. The teachers are leaving because they can make much more going somewhere else. 10% gets you closer to what other states are paying, but when teachers can make 10 or 15,000 more somewhere else, what do?
Well, 10% is a start. We get up to 20 ultimately in 3 years, but I can't speak to other people leaving for those reasons.
To be clear, Ducey's plan doesn't give teachers everything they've asked for, and it's still unclear how the governor's plan will play in the House, where leaders have floated a less ambitious plan for teacher pay.
Under his proposal, teachers' pay would increase 9% in the 2018 school year, then another 5% for the next 2 years.
So we're looking at that ice storm for this weekend, Alex, and I gotta say, I'm not excited about it.
Yeah, not many people are, but we have the perfect prime setup as we have a warm front just to our south, and we have a strong Canadian high that's going to help force down some cold and dry air that creates an unstable environment, which is going to allow showers to come up. But some ice is expected tomorrow afternoon.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.